Hi, Bob.
Hey, Zax.
So, we're back at to our series Get Creeped Out,
And we have to
where
pretend like
we
this is the first time we're doing this.
yeah,
Okay,
okay.
we're not,
So,
screw,
well,
yeah, forget that.
I'm just
Let's just
going
drop a
to
little peek behind the kimono. We've recorded this like 40 times.
yeah, this episode is very convoluted and it's very simple.
Yeah, the
There's not a
episode's
lot.
actually not complicated to understand, but
They just add
there's so many tiny choices they make throughout this whole episode that you need to spend like
yeah.
10 minutes deconstructing, and then at the end of it you get all lost and you don't know what you're talking about anymore, and you
Yeah.
forget to mention a key plot point, which is
And
why for the first time in this series we've had to take a bunch of notes, like a page and a half
yeah.
of notes on this very simple episode.
We're
uh,
basically doing a serial killer investigation.
we have actually attempted to record this, I think, 3 or 4 times. The last time,
Yeah.
we had technical malfunctions. We were doing fine, and then we had technical malfunctions. So let's
Yeah.
hope that doesn't happen again.
I'm kind of creeped out because what if this is a
Oh my!
cursed
Don't say.
episode?
Please don't title drop the show in your. That was.
What if it's a cursed episode?
If it's a cursed episode, then we're just gonna have to skip it.
No! Okay, so the episode starts off with a curious, and he just walks around and he doesn't do anything because he never does anything, and the narrator wants us to care about him, but we're not gonna.
We're
So
not.
we
Yeah, stop
go
trying.
in.
The only thing I care about regarding the narrator in this opening bit is that when you see him pick up some flowers, he looks like he's never used human hands before, and I don't know if that was an intentional choice or the actor is an idiot.
He bought them at the hand store today. He's breaking them in.
Breaking in those hands, he doesn't know how to use the fingers properly. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the
So
thing.
we
When I was
open.
working retail, if I ever like fumbled a package or something, I would always tell people, I'm sorry, I've only been a human for 25 years. I'm only just getting used to using human hands. And people would usually get a good little laugh out of that so that I could cover up for my deep shame.
Okay. Maybe that's what the curious does.
Yeah, he's just trying to
Let's-
save face. That's why he wears a mask all the time. Get
he
it?
got
Save
shaved.
face? Mask?
Yeah.
Because it's his mask is covering up his face. He's saving. We can move on.
You good? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so we open on our lead character, Cheater Boy.
Don't know his
and-
real name. I have no idea what his real name is.
Yeah, we used to make a joke, but I don't care anymore.
Yeah, he cheats. Like, this is gonna be the theme of the episode, so we call him Cheater Boy.
One thing
This
I
is
will
the fourth or
mention, though,
fifth
really
time we're
quick, this
explaining
is,
this.
each episode kind of tries to be a cautionary tale to some extent. This
Mhm.
one, I guess, succeeds in at least
What?
being that.
How does it?
Well, I at
Until
least know what you're
ex-
trying to teach me. Marty, don't let your phone fall in love with you, I guess.
Yeah, that's not really.
Slapstick, don't get annoyed with your parents, I guess. Kindle sticks, don't abuse children, I guess. This one, I know, don't cheat.
Yeah, I guess. All right, so our main
So-
character's name is. We're gonna call him Cheater Boy. He has a sister named Kelly. She's ready for school. She's sitting on his bed. He's in a bathrobe, and she's playing some game on her tablet. And this is our first digression, because she's playing some game on the tablet, and he says oh, why don't you just use a cheat code to you skip straight from the coin fountain to the queen. And then she says, he says, you skip straight from the coin fountain to the queen, you'll be able to skip right past the bank robbers. And in my head, I'm thinking, first of all, the person who wrote that has never played a video game in their life. But also, what is the theme of this game? How does this game work? Because at that point, the girl says, Kelly says, well, no, I want to practice on the bank robbers so that I can be good enough to beat the queen. And I'm like, what is this game? it clearly requires some amount of skill, right?
Right.
But, like, what do you do in it? How can it be like a coin fountain could go either way, but a queen seems to suggest some sort of fantasy element. Bank robber is very grounded, down to earth stuff. So I'm like, what? What? I don't get it.
Yeah,
Either way, she says, I'm not going to cheat like you. And he says, it's not cheating. It's winning without the pain.
yeah, finger gun, snarky smile.
That's his
win.
catchphrase. He's going to say
Yeah.
it. There's going to be 3 times in the episode he says it.
So she finally looks up and she's like, "Hey, what are you like even doing over there?" Because he's in a bathrobe.
Not
He's
ready
got
for
this
school.
whole Ferris Bueller setup going on. He's
Yeah.
rubbing onion directly into his eyes
Yep.
and not reacting at all.
Which
seems
makes
like
me think
someone-
that maybe the actor was not told that they were supposed to be onions, because the props just look like half orbs of white and he's rubbing them straight into his eyes. But then also
he had like an ice pack. He put some
Mhm.
Vaseline in his hair.
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
he
Yeah,
had,
he's trying to make himself look clammy and sick and whatnot. And she's like, what are you doing? Which is like, come on, use your brain. And he says, showtime. And then he grabs a thing of cayenne pepper, which is on his desk, snorts it, and then he puts everything away really quickly, dives into bed, and shouts, Mom! And then he puts everything away, dives into bed, and goes, and
as like the mom's walking in
she's
right
already
as he
walking in as he's
She was
coughing.
like-
Because
yeah,
she was, I
'cause
guess,
was
right
like-
outside the door. But, like, my question is, and this is the first of at least a few attempts, or a few hijinks that he does in this episode, where I gotta say, he is terrible at plan execution. What are you doing? Why aren't you ready by the time she comes in the door? Instead, you have to scramble because you called her, basically putting you on a timer as soon as you start. You're like, Mom! And then now you have to scramble to put everything away. What are you doing?
I definitely got the feeling that like he likes the scramble. Like that's part of it for him. He gets the rush. Like, will I get away with it? Because that's the only thing that makes sense, because he keeps like making really like unnecessary risky move. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so his mom walks in and like, he called her up.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, well, it's time for school. So she was coming anyway. He didn't need to call her, didn't need to use his voice. But then,
Yeah.
because this next thing, he's like, I'm sick, but I could totally go to school. But my question is, okay, like, because she's like, no, you can't go to school. But if I'm the mom, like, yeah, fine, you don't have to go to school. But why'd you call me up here?
I don't know.
Why did you say mom?
I mean, like, maybe
I'm here now.
I can maybe give the show a little bit, not credit, certainly, but, like, I'll give it a slight pass on this one, just because it's like, maybe Mom doesn't always come in, to check in. So, like, maybe she usually would just knock on the door and be like, get ready, it's almost time to go, It's like,
But
that's the kind of thing my mom would do. She would just shout up from downstairs and just be like, hey, get ready. And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm saying that he's trying to like make this like act that he wanted to go to school.
Right.
So if anything, he should have told his sister to call mom up.
I mean, honestly,
But-
if he wanted to fake like he really did want to go to school even though he was sick, he should have been dressed up for school. His sister's already dressed up for school.
Yeah, he should, or he should.
Like,
have
he
at
should
least
be
been
putting on his like school shirt, and then she looks at his face and he looks like garbage, and then she'd be like, no, what the hell are you doing?
Or,
Well,
or
either way,
should've-
he says, I'm good,
or-
Mom, I'm good, I'll go to school. And Mom is like, no, you go back into bed. You look terrible. And sister very coyly says, like, yeah, and so suddenly. And I'm like, I kind of like you, Kelly. You're kind of fun.
Yeah, because I'm like,
You're the only
and
character
then-
I kind of like in this show.
Yeah, but then the mom, for some reason, like looks over at the desk. She's like, "What's that doing here? Why is the cayenne pepper on your desk?"
Because he
And
doesn't
he's-
know how to plan or execute his plans.
So
Like, it's an
then,
extremely elaborate ruse, right? Like, you need
yeah,
Vaseline and onions and cayenne pepper and an
but
ice
also,
pack, all of this stuff, and you still goofed it.
yeah, but wouldn't all of this mean that he's like done it before? So why at like the very first hiccup, he's like a deer in the headlights, like, oh, I'm about to be caught. So then
Yeah.
our
Sister,
Kelly,
Kelly.
we don't deserve her. She's too good for this world. She's like, oh, that's mine. It's the new trend. You put it in your hair. It
And
makes it shiny.
which is like obviously BS or whatever, and for some reason mom buys it because she's an idiot.
Well, like it's because yeah, that's one. So
What kind of
here's the
idiot?
thing,
Like, no,
because
no.
like Kelly, like I've been on Pinterest. They have all sorts of little life hacks like that. I totally
Okay,
get that. Like it's plausible that someone out there wrote that that's a thing. So if Kelly's like, oh, I heard about that, it's weird that the mom wouldn't be like a little bit skeptical.
let me let
But
me
also,
let me just shatter the illusion of every one of those, like real quick, because
okay,
I have the ability right now. Um, if they tell you that you can put a common household item on your body to cause it to look better, uh, and it's not traditionally used that way, it's almost certainly a lie. And the reason I know that is because how long has cayenne pepper been around? How
okay.
long have people cared about their hair? Oh, literally thousands of years? So maybe, like, someone would have noticed before.
Maybe, but
You would think someone in the vastness of history would have thought, oh, I know for a fact that this works and makes my hair shinier. I'm just gonna put it in shampoo. I'm just gonna put it in a thing. Like, I'm gonna sell this. Right?
so
Like, no, the discovery of this would not appear on Pinterest first.
it might.
It
Don't
wouldn't.
do not forsake the power of Pinterest.
I will forsake the power of Pinterest.
So then the mom's like, okay, like let's get ready to go, Kelly. And then she looks back at her brother. She's like, you owe me. And he's like, I'll tell you what I owe you. And he makes this weird dumb face at her. So we
Also,
thought,
mom says, well, yeah, good.
well, we thought that the mom was gonna take Kelly to school, and then he was gonna take his plan to action because he's not just like bored of school today. He's not just like he didn't need a day off. He needs
He
to
actually has a
steal.
plan, yeah.
Yeah, he needs to steal the exam from his dad,
The
the
exam
vice principal's
answers
office.
from his dad, who's the
Yeah,
vice principal.
but he doesn't. But he doesn't just get it
Oh,
really quick while
oh,
the mom is driving the daughter to school.
hang on. I thought you were going to mention this. Mom says, you're staying home. I'm going to call into work and say, I'm working from home today. Which I
Right.
think is important to mention because, again, if I were a kid who was going to play hooky, I would be very dissatisfied if that's the way things turned out.
Well, I
Right?
guess
Like, I mean,
he.
like, I, like, it's either you're at school with your friends, hanging out, doing things, or you're in prison in your room pretending to be sick. Now he has this other plan, right? He has this plan to steal exam answers, but he lives with this man. He lives in this house, so he could steal these answers literally any time.
I'm assuming like that there's a very thin window. Like maybe like if it's Tuesday, Dad brings the exam questions home Monday night, and Tuesday is the last chance you have because Wednesday he's got to bring him back. To
Okay, so you know
grade
what
the
I would
exam.
do?
Yeah.
Midnight.
Okay, I don't know, but this is his last. He had to do it today.
Also,
So,
okay,
but here's the thing. Okay,
yeah.
he lets her take Kelly to school, and then he waits till she's back home.
Yep.
And then he shoots some milk bottles.
Yeah, he
with
gets like
his
a
really expensive automatic Nerf rifle that all the kids are jealous of.
I
I'm
don't
certain.
understand how, like, they just put this on set, right? Where he's got this automatic
Mhm.
Nerf rifle, but like those things are really expensive, and like he has other stuff like GoPros all over the house, and I'm like, they shower him in
Mhm.
stuff. Like
Mhm.
I mean, sister was using an iPad earlier, but I'm like, okay, maybe they share the iPad, right? That might be like whatever. But on top of that, like GoPros are kind of expensive. Nerf rifles are expensive. Why does he get one of the motorized ones? Like he gets all of this stuff. I don't know. I don't know. This just seems like a weird, like they're really showering him with stuff, especially considering what we see later. That seems like a lot of stuff to gift a kid. Uh, Anyways, he pulls out the rifle and he's shooting at these milk bottles that are on the driveway. And he's doing that because he needs mom to be distracted and he needs time. And so he shoots at them and they're rolling down and then he's causing chaos for his mom who's running down the driveway trying to collect milk bottles. Is that normal in the UK, by the way? Like I didn't think the
Just to
milkman
use milk.
existed anymore anywhere.
I think you can maybe buy milk bottles at the store.
Okay. I don't know. It
It
seems weird,
sounds like
but like maybe that's a thing in the UK. I mean, the people making the episode live in the UK, so they would know better than we would.
yeah. So
Then again, they also should know better on a number of these things.
well, she doesn't notice the Nerf darts.
At all, yeah.
So
Like he's shooting
yeah.
at them with Nerf darts. We see the Nerf darts there. She doesn't notice. So I would think immediately in her head she would go, "Oh, I just watched them, apropos of nothing, fall over. Now I have to go collect them, and now I'm looking at it and I see Nerf darts." I would immediately go, maybe it's that wretched son of mine who's constantly in schemes.
Yeah.
I hate my boy.
So okay, so
So while she's running down the
okay.
driveway, yeah.
So let's address. So picking up bottles takes, I guess, hours because
Yeah, he
he
has
has time
tons of
to
time.
take the folder. He starts watching a zombie
Oh, wait,
slasher.
hold on. He runs into the room. He doesn't have a lockpick ready.
Oh no, he has
This
to
is the
undo
second
like a paper clip.
Yeah, this is the second time we're seeing him being really bad at plan execution because he knows what he's got to do. He's got to run in there, pick the lock, open the drawer, get the folder, and then like what I would do, what you would do is take a picture of the answers with your phone and put the folder
Right.
back. But he takes it back to his room, which adds a second layer to his scheme that he doesn't need. But he runs back to his room, and then here's example number 3 of him being terrible at plan execution. Instead of immediately copying down the answers, then I don't understand how he loses track of his plan so
Well,
quickly.
he takes a break.
He takes a break in the middle of his heist because he starts setting up like a zombie movie on the TV, and like he gets like he decides he's going to go downstairs and sneak all the stuff for an ice cream sundae up to his room, which is like a glass and also a bunch of ice cream and whipped cream and like 4 different toppings and a tray to carry all of it back up to his room. And like he's sneaking down there and he like glances in the bathroom and he sees his mom is back at home and she's like sprinkling cayenne pepper in her hair because like haha, good goof show. That's a real whopper of a doozy. You've really tied me up in knots. Anyways, the kid sneaks downstairs, gets all the ice cream stuff, goes back upstairs, and he's eating the ice cream and watching the movie. And I'm like, you were in the middle of a heist, bud! Do your heist! What are you doing? You screwed it up!
Yeah.
But no, he never gets caught screwing up his heists because he gets a text from his sister and I don't know, this is totally irrelevant. She says, like, here's what I owe you, and then sends him a stupid face, which is like a mirror of what happened earlier, but it's like, this never comes back up, so, like, who cares? And then, like, he's... You take over. I need to wind back down.
Okay, so he
Because of a stupid heist. Like, just do your heist!
well, like, I just, an alternative, take a picture with your phone of the answers, leave
Yeah.
the folder there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So, yeah, okay. Well, oops.
I gave you credit to the for the idea because you said it like two
Oh, yeah.
recordings ago.
Yeah. Okay, so
So yeah,
then he
he's
gets a
watching the
text
movie.
from
Yeah.
he's watching the movie. He gets a text from his sister, and she says, "Here's something I owe you," and she sends him a dumb face.
Yeah, and that
Like
doesn't
the one
matter
he
at all.
gave her earlier.
Yeah.
Then he happens to notice that there's a delivery truck, and from
Across
Cat
the
Food
street.
from Cat Food Express, giving crates of cat food to this old woman, like boxes on top of boxes of it. The man who's loading it, he can only do one box at a time. He's having a little bit of trouble.
Which is
And
like
then
fair.
she-
It looks like a lot of cat food.
like 60 like solid cans, like not just like tuna cans, like they're
Like those big old cans,
like-
and it's like a
they're
5
like
by
a
like 5 by 12 thing.
Progresso size cans.
Yeah, Campbell's soup can kind of thing.
Yeah. So then she takes like 3 crates under her arm, and
This
just
old
brings them
lady
in.
across the street, and he's like
Old
watching
lady.
this, and
He's
he's like, "What the heck?"
First he's like, "How many cats does she have?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "She's a freak." Then
Remember when this episode was called Cat Food? We're 20 minutes in and we're just mentioning cat food. This is why this
Yeah.
episode sucks.
Okay, so then
Yeah, so the
and
old
he's
lady's
just kinda
picking up all
like-
that cat food. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, so then, like, he's got a whole rig set up. Like I said, he's Ferris Bueller, UK edition. And alarms start blaring because mom's coming into the room. So he, like,
Right.
quickly does
So this is like
nothing.
he looks at this like a screen off to the right, and sure enough, there's like a GoPro feed on the screen as she's coming up the stairs, and he's also got audio alarms, and it's like, again, more. This is so much stuff for him to set up, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, so you got distracted from your distraction from your heist
Yeah.
because your heist was stealing the exam answers, which we later find out he sells.
Mhm.
His distraction was the movie and the ice cream. He got distracted from those distractions by looking at this old lady. So now he has to put away his binoculars. He also has to turn off the TV. He has to put away the ice cream stuff and the exam papers. And I'm like, dog, just focus on like one thing at a time.
Yeah, so the mom checks in and she's like, you were so bummed about being sick today. I thought I would just give you your birthday present early.
Uh-huh.
Which, on paper, super sweet. You know what's not sweet?
The present.
Yeah, like, here, son. Okay, because here's the thing, too. Here's the thing. They clearly have money.
Yeah, because they can
Uh,
afford to spend all this money on GoPros and alarm systems just
He's
for
got
him and all this
so
stuff.
many things, but maybe it's like, well, you got all that stuff, so now all you get is $1.50 double-headed coin I got at the trick shop.
That's right. That's his present. Imagine giving that to your child, and
And then here's the
that's
thing, too.
awful. That is an awful gift. I
You
said this.
spend
I said this 3 recordings ago.
5, I don't know.
I don't know, some number of recordings ago. If I went to a birthday party, and they gave us goodie bags, and in the goodie bag there was a 2-headed coin, I'd be disappointed. Not even
Yeah.
if I was the birthday boy. If I was just a guest and that was in the goodie bag, I would be kind of annoyed. I'd be like, this is not a real thing. Like, I can use this maybe twice in my whole life and then I'll throw it away. Which, like, I get that that's basically what goodie bags are for. I would still be annoyed. I would be triply annoyed if my mom got that for me and that's not me saying like I'm saying that as a person whose parents were doctors, right? They had money. If my parents didn't have money for a gift, I understand. But like my parents, just like this kid's parents, clearly have enough money to buy him some real stuff. Why on earth are they giving him a 2-headed coin for his birthday? That wouldn't make me happy anytime, let alone when I'm sick.
Yeah, I don't know why that would like lift his spirits, but also here's the other thing too. So he's getting distracted by old McGee across the street, and the mom like is like, "Hey, you there? Like, what's going?" like pay more attention to this dumb thing I got.
Yeah, this dumb piece of trash.
Um. So then, like, that's the end of that scene. He goes to the mom's room so he could spy on her some more, and
A spy on the old lady some more.
Yeah, so we see that she
He's using his
has a
binoculars.
false
He's looking through the
wall.
window, and she has a false wall in her garage.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And he's just like, she's a freak.
Yeah.
And then,
Because, he says she's a freak because behind the false wall there's a tub, and she's pouring cat food into it.
and remember, she had crates on top of crates, and she fills this whole tub with cat food. So I'm under the impression that she's just like Popeye squeezing it, and the cat food's like flying out into the tub. And just getting, because it's very messy. It's like leaking off the side, and it's like, don't you want it? Like,
And she also has like a thing that she's like boiling cat food above it, and it's like glowing like a big witch's cauldron or whatever. And he's like, what is this lady doing? This is crazy. And mom walks in. I don't know why she's just wandering around the house. Don't you have work to do?
Yeah, I don't know why she stayed home from work, because, like, your son's sick. Why don't you offer him, I don't know, some Tylenol? When he was in her room, she was like, oh, you've got a fever. You need to go straight to bed. Well, if I've got a fever, maybe some Tylenol.
I mean, I'm more annoyed at the fact that, like, she said she was staying home from work to, like, work from home, but then, like, every 5 minutes, he's doing something and she's walking into his room. Either stay home to take care of him, or do your work. Pick one. Because you said you were doing your work, and you're not doing that. You're just wandering around the house. You didn't even know he was going to be in your room. Why did you wander into your room just to get him?
Yeah,
like,
so...
just choose. Also, she got all dressed up for work, and then when we saw her going to do work, she was no longer dressed up for work. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, now that she's home, I guess she can dress more comfortably. Anyways, so she says, no. What are you doing in my room? You go back to bed. You're sick. I'm going to give you the same speech like 3 more times in this episode. Go back to bed. And he says, Mom, no. Look, she's crazy. I don't know what's going on. She's got like a big tub of whatever. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Go back. She didn't even look out the window. She said, whatever. You're a crazy person. You're an idiot. You dumb child. I hate you. You're a curse on my life. Maybe she doesn't say all of that, but I thought all of that. And then she leads him back to his room and sends him to bed. And as soon as she leaves, he continues heists. Oh no. Lil Z, you there?
Yes.
Why are you quiet?
I was thinking, okay.
I need you to be in the moment here. I can't carry this episode.
I'm sorry. You were just, you were having a moment. I was gonna, like, just let you ride out into the wind. Okay. So, he watches old lady, and she gets into the tub, and he performs the worst or most amazing search anyone ever has done before. He types in cat food bath monster.
Yeah.
And it immediately pops up Kokokin. They will steal your body.
And I don't know why, like, this is such a bad Google search. Wait, did you tell them what the search engine was called?
Oh, it was called, it wasn't Google.
Yeah, because it can't say Google.
It said engine.
It's engine. Hey, man, I'm going to engine search it. Oh, what's engine? Engine is a search engine. It helps you search.
Mm-hmm.
Engine.
Yep. So then the mom comes in and she's like, what are you doing? Go
to bed. This is my 3rd time giving you this stupid speech.
And then he's like, look, I think something's wrong. Like, maybe she has dementia. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, look, I think she's a monster. I thought I saw her do some crazy transformation, and nope, she's not. Like, wait, did you mention the transformation?
No. Okay,
oh
yeah.
My God.
The reason he got, because, I didn't know where you left off. Okay.
You need to pay attention. I'm
sorry. It's a tough episode to get through. We're doing really good though, and we got our traction. Okay, so old
Let's
lady.
just hold on. Let me just jump back. So mom sends him to bed again. As soon as she leaves the room, he bounces back to grabbing stuff. Right? He grabs on the way back to his room. Actually, he grabs a camera, like a little GoPro from a bush that's like a decorative thing in the house that he was using to hide that was like his alarm system camera or whatever. And he attaches it to a fishing rod, which he just has in his room, I guess. And when she's gone, he's using that fishing rod and GoPro to spy on the neighbor. I assume at some point the mom took the binoculars. I didn't see that, but um,
Yeah, they don't really mention them ever again, so it doesn't really
it doesn't
matter if
really
he
matter.
has them or not.
He's looking. He's using
So
the GoPro and watching the feed on his laptop. And when he's looking out there, he sees the neighbor, the old lady, and this time he sees her climbing into the tub. And he's like, "Oh, what is this?" And you see her shadow, and you see like tentacles coming out of the back of her shadow or whatever. And it's like, "Ooh, spooky." And I'll give the show a tiny, tiny little bit of credit, which is that the shadow doesn't look too bad. Like the transformation doesn't look absolutely atrocious. That's it. That's the only credit I'll give him.
yeah, so he's like, I think something's wrong with her, and so she's like, okay, so she goes and she's
Oh,
like, I'll go.
wait.
What?
Why are you skipping ahead?
Because that's where we were before.
No.
Okay.
No, we'll just cut all that and then go back to. That's why I went backwards.
Oh, I was just gonna have it all. Okay.
No. Don't do that. That's going to be confusing.
Okay.
Just start from okay, he saw the transformation. Start from there.
So he saw the transformation and he decides that he needs to search. So he gets on his computer and he types in something very specific.
Mhm.
Cat food bath monster.
Yeah, really
And it,
good search for his not Google. It's not a Google search. It's an engine search.
Yeah.
Good. It's a search engine. Oh, did you want to engine that? Engine it? What is engine? Oh, it's a search engine. It helps you search. Engine, the search engine that helps you search.
Yeah. And it immediately yields results and it turns out that she's a cocokin.
Yeah, it's like
And
some
she's
kind of monster that
cocokin.
steals your body. Ooh.
Yeah. So then mom comes in and is like,
Checking
what are
on
you
him.
doing?
Why is she checking on him so much?
But why is she not giving him some medicine?
Do something, anything.
Yeah.
Treat him.
Then, yeah,
Do
so
your
he's
work.
like-
Pick one.
so he's like, there could be something wrong with her. Like, go check or call the police or something.
I mean,
was like,
first
"I'm not gonna call the
first
police."
he says like, "Hey, she's crazy. She's a monster." Mom says, "You're hallucinating. You're a dumb, crazy, idiot, stupid, gross child. I wish you were not my spawn. You are the spawn of Satan." And the kid says, "No, Mom, seriously. Like, look, okay, if you don't believe me, that's fine. You don't have to believe me, but maybe there's something really seriously wrong with her because, like, I'm concerned. Okay, can you at least just go check?"
Mhm.
And Mom's like, ugh.
So then she's like, whatever. So she crosses the street. She goes to the old lady, and then the old lady's like, "Excuse me a moment, I have a call." And then
Yeah, they
the
talk
mom
across the street
finds-
and whatever. Yeah.
She finds the false wall or whatever, but there's no bathtub anymore, no cat food. So she's like, whatever.
Oh no!
Oh, then she gets a call.
Hold on. We forgot to mention something.
What?
We always forget to mention. It's like tradition at this point. While he was using the fishing rod to like look out the window, when Mom comes in, it scares him, and he drops the fishing rod and the camera out the window.
Okay.
That becomes relevant later. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stopped you.
Oh, right. Okay, so where was I? All right, yeah. So then the old
Mom
lady gets
is
a call.
checking in
She
on
goes
old lady.
inside. Mom is checking for. She finds the false wall, but there's no tub, so I don't know how old lady swung that, but whatever. Then
Very carefully.
Mom gets a call. Yes.
Mom gets a
And
call, yeah.
mom gets a call and she needs to go into work, which is like, what do you do for a living? Because you didn't do anything from home, so no wonder they're calling you in.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I thought you said you
But
were gonna work from home, and instead you're just jacking around.
just bothering your son, honestly. But
Yeah,
anyway, so then the old lady comes and like catches her like looking in like the false wall area, and then
and they have a
the
fun little
like
chat.
yeah, we don't hear what they say, but we see like their gestures, and the mom like straight points at the window, and she's basically saying like, "You're this is so dumb, but like my son's an idiot. He thinks you're like a monster bathing in cat food." So yeah, then she's
Which
like,
is,
"Okay, well
by
I
the way,
have
a
to
lot to
go."
tell some old lady, right? Like, can
I
you not share
yeah,
all that information? Like, I don't know. Whatever.
especially because like it doesn't seem like you guys have really interacted past today, like
Yeah.
no matter how long you've lived together. So then so then she goes and she tells him like, okay, well you're gonna be on your own today, I gotta go back into work. But like, why'd you stay home at all? Clearly your presence isn't important.
Yeah,
But
your presence at
anyway,
home isn't important. Your presence at work sounds like it might be important. Why did you stay home? But
yeah.
she says, but don't worry, you'll have a babysitter. Thanks for the idea. And then, like, walks out the door. And I'm like, you should at least get dressed for work, right? Like, you got undressed from your work attire to go to, but now you're dressed like a, whatever. Anyways, she leaves, and he's like, babysitter? Oh no, I wonder who it's gonna be. And it's the old lady.
And
And
then
she rings the doorbell, and it goes ding dong. And then, like, the
right.
music starts getting more intense, and you hear ding dong. And then, like, more intense, ding dong. And it's like, they're, like, pitch shifting it down to be more spooky, but I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. So then he's like, I don't want you in here. And she's like, well, I'm here
I'm your
now.
babysitter. Aren't you going
Yeah.
to invite me in? And he
And
does.
which is weird. But then it turns out that she let him see her strength on purpose.
Yeah,
And
he's like, I'm
so,
not gonna fall for your tricks. Your old lady routine's not gonna work on me. You're a cocokin. And she goes, yup. And you're like, oh, they're not gonna try to, okay, interesting, okay.
yeah. So, and then she explains the gig. So she is a Kokokin.
Uh-huh.
She wants to steal his body, but she's not without morals. She
Yeah,
needs to win it fair and square in a game.
right. She's not gonna just steal his body. He needs to
Yeah.
give it to her after he wins, or after she wins it in a game.
So we mentioned at the beginning of the episode that he like knows cheat codes to video games and he seems to enjoy
Yeah,
this.
she lets him choose the game.
Yeah, so is that but that's what he chooses, right? A video game?
No, of course not. Even though he's supposed to be proficient at them and could easily use a cheat code they mentioned
Oh,
to
yes,
cheat. No, no,
yeah.
no. No, no, no. They don't want to teach you anything about that. Instead, he says, ooh, I can choose any game I want, right? And she's like, yep, any game. And he pulls out the fake two-headed coin and he says, it's a simple game of heads or tails. He flips it. He says, I call heads. She catches it out of the air. And she says, you forget. I see everything. I know about your little mother's little gifts. Pick a different game. And I'm like, you didn't say that I couldn't cheat. You just said pick a game. You're like,
Yeah.
what? Like, you didn't put any conditions on it at all. Like, I picked a game and I won.
Yeah. So he like yeah, he
But
didn't
she's
even get
like,
to
no,
finish
pick
it.
another game.
And then he just like sort of stays there. Like that's another thing. Again, like he's supposed to be Ferris Bueller, and he got all these elaborate setups. But the first hiccup,
Oh
he's
my
just deer in
god.
headlights. Because she's like, pick another game. And he's just like, and it's like,
Oh,
bruh,
yeah, and she
just
says
use
like
words.
she specifically says I'm not the only, or you're not the only spy around the neighborhood, and she shows the camera that he dropped out the window.
Right.
Right? And so like she shows him that she saw it, she has it, which I'm like, how did mom not notice a big fishing pole in the driveway when she walked out there? But anyways, she lady holds up the camera and then she like tosses it down underneath the table, their glass table. Wink. That's gonna be important. Wink.
Yeah, so here's the game. She
She
just
suggests
scattered
a
a
game this
bunch.
time.
Yeah, so she's like, "Oh well, I see a deck of cards here." So I was like, "Okay, well you're an old lady. You've been stealing bodies for years. You
They're gonna play a
probably
game
know
of
like
bridge or something.
yeah." No, she's just gonna scatter them on the table face down, and he's gonna pick one up, and she's gonna pick one up. Highest card wins. So like quick 3 round war.
I mean,
Basically.
if it's well, she didn't even specify that it's 3 rounds. Without it being 3 rounds, like assuming your card pick is random, isn't it basically still a 50-50? Like
Yeah.
suits don't matter. Your chance to pick any particular card is random. If you pick a 7, that means that it's right in the middle. But at the same time, all the other cards are either higher or lower or also 7s. So that doesn't change anything. Like it's basically 50-50 still. I don't know. Like maybe the math on that is different. I haven't worked it out. I'll work it out after the video, and if it's different, you can put something on screen.
All right. So yeah.
So the game is she's gonna pick a card, he's gonna pick a card. Whoever gets the highest card wins. And
Yeah,
she
so
doesn't
like
specify that it's best 2 out of 3, but yes, it is best 2 out of 3.
she also does yeah, and then she doesn't specify if aces are high or low.
Yeah.
So
But
they
aces
play
are high,
it
which she specifies
for
later.
yeah, first round she lost. No.
Yeah, she pulls out a 4, he pulls out a 2, and it's like, oh, great. Okay.
And then the next episode I forget, but he
Next
does something strong.
session. Yeah, he puts out something, and then she beats it. So it's now 1-1. Last person takes it. She draws a king. And she's like, oh, the only thing that beats a king is an ace. And he stands up and he says, I'm going to quit. And she says, if you quit, you forfeit. If you forfeit, then I win by default. And I'm like, you didn't specify that before either. Like,
Yeah, she's
you didn't
definitely
specify
making the
any of your stupid rules. But regardless, I kind of see, like, she's got all the power in this situation. She's a big old monster. So, like, she can define the rules however she likes. But either way, like, I'm still thinking, like, well, okay, fine. Either way, he looks around the room, and we see the camera's facing him. And, like, having watched this episode multiple times now, I noticed that he looks over her left shoulder and just like very, very clearly is looking over her left shoulder to the point that if I were her, I would look over my left shoulder. You know, like clearly something's caught his attention over her shoulder. But no, she just looks him in the face and does not turn around. And he looks over her shoulder. And then he goes, fine. And then he sits down and looks over her shoulder again. I counted. He does it like 3 or 4 times in like very obvious ways. Usually his eyes just trained on that spot. And then finally, he reaches over and he grabs a card and he looks at it. And she kind of smiles to herself because like she probably won. And then he smiles and he puts down the card and it's an ace. And she's like, what? No! And then he leans back and he like puts his hands behind his head. And then she like looks over her shoulder and right there, like literally right behind her, his laptop is open and the feed that we're seeing on the laptop is the camera feed that of the camera that she brought from outside that she threw under the table, which is now facing up towards the bottom of the glass table so you can see all the cards. And I'm like, first of all, that's really dumb luck. Second of all, how did he not notice that until the 3rd card? Like, it's right there. He didn't set up, wake up.
Oh, like...
It's right there. Like, it's literally... right there. He could just use it from the get-go. I don't even know why he didn't even suggest a game that involved that if he was going to cheat anyways. Either way, she says, oh, you cheated. And he says, it's not cheating. This is where you chime in.
Oh, it's winning without the pain. And then she's like,
Ah!
oh.
Oh, he's got him. Dab, dab,
So
dab,
then
dab,
we
dab.
cut immediately to the next day, and he sits down and he mentions something about cheat codes, but he looks at his sister and he's like, oh, but I won't talk about that in front of you because I know how you feel about them. And then she's like, oh, I don't know, duck.
And it
And
was
then they
okay. You
call him.
spoiled it. She
Well,
says, she says, I don't know about that. People can change, don't you think, Duck? Which is, by the way, what the old lady was calling him for the whole episode. We never
yeah.
mentioned that either.
We
I
also
hate
didn't
this
mention that
episode.
the sister calls him Stupidio.
Who cares?
So
I mean,
you
that doesn't
spoiled.
matter at all. She calls him that once. The lady calls him Duck
Well,
like a
you
billion
only know
times.
the sister for 2 seconds.
I mean, it doesn't matter, though. It's not plot relevant.
So they just
I don't know
want
why
us
you
to
kept
know.
writing it down.
Because it was important to me.
It's not important at all. The old lady calls him Duck
and then
throughout
he,
the
like,
whole
was
thing,
like,
and then at the end, like Kelly says, like, you're, I think, I don't know. You can tell me about the cheat codes. Some people can change, Duck, and we're like, oh no, and then he's like, no, what? And she says, yeah, if other people knew that you were selling exam answers, you would get expelled, but Kelly would do anything to keep you from getting expelled. So, we played a little game, and I'm glad you taught me that cheating that camera trick. And then he's like, ah, and then like the episode ends, and we get the Curious again.
yeah, but like, whatever. But
Who
like,
gives a crap about the Curious?
but also like, what? I'm gonna need a part 2 of this because
What? Why?
What is your life with this fake sister?
No, I don't want a part 2. That sounds awful.
Sound off in the comments. Do you think Catfood should get part 2?
I didn't even think it should have gotten a part 1.
Okay, so
having struggled to record this episode like 5 different times, I gotta say this episode sucks. It's the worst. It's the worst one.
Yeah, I think I'd put it maybe 3rd place, so I think I'd go Marty, Slapstick, Cat Food, Kindle Sticks, and then Bravery Badge.
I would go Marty, Kindlesticks, Bravery Badge, Slapstick, Cat Food.
Okay, that's fair. I enjoy Cat Food. I enjoyed it less and less each time I had to rewatch it, and each time that we had to re-record. But the first time, it was very cute. I will say that.
No, it wasn't.
I had fun. I think it was a very silly. I love the old lady. I don't think we spent much time. I think maybe like takes 1 through 52 we did. Did we really take time to talk about like her little scary voices?
No, we didn't talk about it at all. Because you were asleep during this recording.
Yeah. It's late, you guys, for me. If you don't, some of you guys know me personally and you know that I get sleepy. I'll be honest. I'm sorry.
I told you I couldn't carry this episode.
I'm sorry.
You little goobus.
Anyway, she says things like buddy and alone.
Yeah, she says like, I was trying to get you alone, and it like the way she says it, I don't know if they pitched her down or if she's just a weird lady.
That was her audition. She just came in and they were like
alone. And they were like, you're hired.
She sounds so like chipper and British and like happy and then just alone.
But it's not scary.
Mm-mm.
It just sounds dumb.
It's very silly.
Also, let me just say real quick. They do a couple of little things. They do explain why she needs cat food. The reason she needs cat food is because cat food has taurine in it, and she needs the taurine to survive. And she clarifies that like at one point, like while the kid's running away, which we never explained either, but it doesn't really matter. She explains that they used to have to boil cow urine to get taurine in their diet, and I gotta say, why didn't you just eat meat? That's where you get a lot of taurine. Like,
Well, it
you
seems
wouldn't
like
even look like monsters eating meat.
It seems like they need to bathe in the taurine.
Okay, so kill people and bathe in the like. Just kill people. Like, I don't care. Then here's the other thing. I'm looking at the wiki page for this, for Creeped Out for Cat Food, which, by the way, Cat Food is episode 2 of the first season as it originally aired.
They came out swinging.
No, they came out stinking. This episode sucks. And the epilogue, they clarify something in the epilogue on the wiki page. The curious inspects the cat graves in Mrs. McMurtle's garden. He takes a cross from one of them and puts it in his bag. The narrator warns the audience to think twice about cheating, as you never know who might be watching. And I gotta say, I don't care about your lesson, but did she ever have any cats?
Apparently.
Why? So,
Really.
wait, you're telling me she would bathe in the boiling cat food and then feed that food to a cat? Gross!
But...
She is evil.
Yeah, because I don't know why...
That's disgusting.
But also, what I'm wondering though is like, how loaded is this Coco kid? Because she apparently gets like 20 crates of cat food a day.
Yeah, because she fills up the tub. I mean, unless she's reusing the cat food, in which case, also gross.
Yeah, there's no way to really swing it that it's not nasty. So...
Unless she's loaded.
Yeah, unless she's loaded. But, yeah, I somehow... with all these hiccups and me goofing up, falling asleep, and betraying you.
Yeah, you did betray me. I remember that.
Somehow we finally made it through episode 5 of Creeped Out, as you know, on Netflix. And I think that we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna delete my audio.
What?
Just making sure you're still awake.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Now go to sleep. Again.
Okay.